Welcome to episode 13 of Halo, where today is all about height. Yeah, it's football, but this is a whale. I don't have a football. I love Free Willy though, as a kid, and so there's that. We are talking about UNLV kicking off their season tomorrow, as well as our Las Vegas Raiders back from their bye and ready for a huge Sunday night game. It all starts now. Alright, so let's get it started with UNLV Football. It's back, Mountain West Conference. At first, they decided to postpone the 2020 season to 2021 and have that kind of run alongside the spring sports. But then, I think it was kind of trial and error, seeing how the rest of the conferences were doing, like the SEC, the ACC, and more. And they thought, okay, it doesn't seem to be too bad, so we'll go ahead and do a modified season. So they are doing 8 games this year instead of the traditional 12. So just 4 less, not too bad, just cutting out about a quarter of the season, and it kicks off tomorrow at San Diego State. They don't play here until the following week, actually on Halloween. It's the Cannon game against Reno. That'll be fun. And that's going to be the first game played in Allegiant Stadium because UNLV has decided to kind of share the stadium with the Raiders. And it's going to be special because there's going to be fans. Again, a limited amount. You can read, more online about that. They're making kind of the accommodations with it. But, Raiders aren't going to have fans, obviously, this whole season. UNLV has decided they will have limited fans. So I'm sure a lot of people are antsy to get inside that stadium. I definitely want to see what it looks like. So I'm very excited for that. I think, we got a brand new coach, and Marcus Arroyo came over from Oregon. He was the offensive coordinator for about 2 years, 2017 through 2019. Actually, I guess getting into the beginning of this, 2017 to 2019, and actually Justin Herbert, who is the quarterback now for the Los Angeles Chargers, was the quarterback under Arroyo, and they won the bowl game. I forgot who they played, but it was an exciting game. I believe they came back. Justin Herbert, he's looking pretty stellar in the NFL, and so far at least, and I think he's gonna do big things for the Chargers. Happy for him. And I'm really happy for the way UNLV has decided to go forward with this program. Obviously had Tony Sanchez for 5 years. He had a disappointing record of 19-40 and finished 3-8 last year. And so we won 2 conference games. Those were the final 2 against San Jose State and Reno, which is always important because it keeps that cannon red, so hopefully we can do the same thing this year. But both of those games were won by 3 points, and really to kind of subpar teams. So it was time. It was time to move on. I think for Tony Sanchez, was kind of put in a weird predicament. He had a lot of success at Bishop Gorman, which is a local high school out here in Las Vegas, but I think that's just it, a high school. He didn't have the college experience teaching college students. Not to say he doesn't know football. I think, of course he knows football, but there's just a different level. It's just like the same thing from going to college to the NFL. It's a different level, and I think with Marcus Arroyo, he brings that. Obviously, leading a guy like Justin Herbert, who I think is going to be a great quarterback coming up. I just think he has kind of, he's been around the college game for a while. Now, here's his chance to lead a program. We will see what happens with that. I think the big thing is, will we start to get recruitments? That's something that UNLV has struggled with. We have California right next door. A lot of people want to go to USC, UCLA. You got Arizona close, Utah. All these kind of Pac-12 schools that are nearing Las Vegas and Nevada in general, and even Reno, get some great players. They're known for having a better football team than UNLV, and so I think this is a huge move because will it bring the necessary recruitments to be a top tier team, at least in the Mountain West. I think it definitely has the potential to. I think playing in Allegiant Stadium, again, transferring from Sam Boyd, kind of a smaller, that was more, I feel like a bigger high school arena in a way. Just it wasn't like a full stadium. It wasn't like a USC or a Utah, or anything like that. It was kind of, like I said, an extended kind of high school stadium. So I think Allegiant Stadium, obviously, that's an NFL stadium. So it's not like its own kind of college campus. It's you're playing in the NFL stadium, which is very cool. And we'll see. I think there's a lot of promise on paper going forward, but I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't think you can go downhill from here. So I think you give Arroyo a few years to kind of get his staff together, get the right players together, just like TJ Otzenberger in basketball. I feel like that program is starting to go up, but again, give them a few years, give them time to develop. This isn't going to change overnight. Don't expect all of a sudden UNLV to go 8-0 this year. They might go 4-4, but hey, I could see them potentially winning 6 games, maybe doing like a 6-2, a 5-3. We'll have to see how everything comes together. There's a lot of new pieces in this now. I mean, former quarterback Armani Rogers transferred to Ohio in the offseason, and so really there's a quarterback carousel. It's down to 3. Arroyo said that they haven't named a starting quarterback yet, and don't expect it until you find out tomorrow on game day. But the choices are between redshirt sophomores Kenyon Oblad and Justin Rogers, and then the lone senior Max Gillum. So we'll have to wait and see who he starts, and but again, I think it all goes up from here. I want to say the full schedule again: tomorrow San Diego State, the following week on Halloween, first game debut in Allegiant Stadium for the Rebels, Cannon game taking on Reno. I mean, what better way to open up Allegiant Stadium for our Rebels than an arch rival? And then on November 7th, we're taking on Fresno State at home. Then we have 2 away games: San Jose State, Colorado State, back home for Wyoming and then Boise, and then ending it on December 12th in Hawaii. And then the Mountain West Conference game will be a week later on the 19th. So again, I think a lot to be excited about, a lot of kind of promise again on paper. Bring a coach with brand new staff that has the college experience. I do think Arroyo, I loved watching him at Oregon. I think he did terrific things with Herbert while he was there, and kind of seeing some of the plays that they run. I know, Oregon is known for trick plays and stuff like that, but I kind of expect, why can't UNLV incorporate some of that? I do think we'll have a mix-up on defense. Arroyo did say expect to see different, defensive schemes for different teams, because last year they allowed 6.5 yards per play for defense, and only 17 teams in the country were worse. So defense efficiency really needs to step up. I think Arroyo will do that. Obviously, he brings the offensive presence, so I don't think that will be a factor. But I'm excited. I think, again, we can only go up from here. Give him a few years, and I think we'll start to see proper recruitments. And I think the UNLV Rebels will be something to reckon with in this new kind of decade. I know 2020 hasn't got off to the start that we wanted, but I do think this is a new time for UNLV, and I'm super excited. So again, tomorrow at San Diego State, let's start it off. Let's see how they do, and then Cannon game the following week. So our Las Vegas Raiders, they had a bye. They're sitting in second place in the AFC West. Obviously right behind the Kansas City Chiefs, who they came before the bye, they actually beat. And so they've been doing very good. Again, I predicted them. First 6 games were pretty brutal. I thought they'd go 1-5. They're 3-2 right now, but they have a big test, possibly maybe the biggest test thus far on paper. This Sunday night, it's a Sunday night game at Allegiant Stadium. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming to town. It should be exciting. It would be electric if fans were allowed, but obviously in the times we're living in, that is not the case. And speaking of COVID, actually 2 players have been placed on the COVID-19 list. Obviously, Maurice Hurst was the first. Hurst was the first. I didn't even mean to rhyme, but it happens. And now, actually, defensive tackle Trent Brown, that's a huge loss, is on it, as well as rookie cornerback Damon Arnett. So now it's a total of 3 players that have been put on that list for the Raiders. Obviously, we've seen COVID hit so many players and, kind of rearrange schedules and weeks and buys and this and that. It's been crazy. I'm hopeful that the season will finish, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I think it'll suck if we get like a third of the way through the season and then it's like, okay, this is becoming too much. We got to end it, but at the same time, it's all about the safety, and so you got to do what you got to do. Hopefully, we don't get to that point. Hopefully, we've seen baseball. Basically, they're almost done. They're in the World Series now with a modified season, and so they were able to complete that. I'm hoping that the NFL can complete their season as well. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best, but that is the latest. That is huge losses because, again, Trent Brown, he's a big player. This will actually be the 9th game he will miss since March of last year, 2019. Obviously, this is the first one due to COVID. So we'll see what happens. Now, overall, I'm going to give you the history of the Buccaneers and the Raiders. The Raiders lead the season series 7-2 against the Bucs, but against Tom Brady, they're 1-5. Obviously, when he was a member of the Patriots, last time they beat him was in 2002, but Tom Brady has owned them ever since. So again, Raiders have beaten the Bucs, 7 out of the 9 times they've met, but out of the 6 times the Raiders have met Tom Brady, they've only been able to beat him once. And so and they met in the postseason, where actually the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl that year under John Gruden. Now you know who John Gruden is the coach of? The Raiders. I mean, how things come around. Obviously, there's been key additions from the Buccaneers. Defensive ends, Shaquille Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. Defensive tackle, Ndamukong Suh. Tight end, Rob Gronkowski. And, of course, the quarterback, his name is Tom Brady. Raiders defense have allowed 30-plus points in 4 of the 5 games this year. Derek Carr, though, has been playing incredible. I think, him paired with Josh Jacobs. Again, get Josh Jacobs in the end zone. That seems to be a winning formula. Derek Carr, I think a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He knows that. He's been playing up to par. The defense is going to be the key, and everything else as well. Derek Carr, he's going to have to keep playing at a light speed. Again, you got all those weapons, but Tom Brady has his weapons as well. Should be a fun matchup. We'll see if it's a shootout or more of a low-scoring game. I'm thinking shootout just because of the Raiders' defense. I think Derek Carr will have another 300-plus yard game. And again, I'm hoping Josh Jacobs get into the end zone a little bit and just make sure everybody's involved. That's the winning formula. Defensively, Max Crosby. We got to get to Tom Brady. That's when he starts to get shaky. He's not an elusive player. He's not a Kyler Murray. He's not a Lamar Jackson. And so if you can get to him, you can frustrate him. And so that's going to be the key. I'm looking forward to the matchup. Again, huge losses with Trent Brown and Damon Arnett. But this COVID thing, it's affecting the NFL as a whole. And so we're just going to have to next man up. That's all. So I thought it would be something interesting to do to end this segment. I want to leave you with a couple questions. You can answer them in the comments below. Just about both UNLV and the Raiders. So with UNLV, they have 8 games this modified season. What do you think they finish as their record? I'm gonna say 5-3. I do think they're gonna win at least 5 games, but we will see. My other question pertaining to the Raiders, just to just to this game. What do you think is the key for them to be successful against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend? Want to leave you with those, and now I'll be leaving you for good. No, just until next Friday. And thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't heard Ariana Grande's new song, it's out today called Positions. Go stream it, go listen to it, have fun. Full album, I think, comes out next Friday, but we'll talk about that, Until then, be good, take care of yourselves, and stay safe. I'll see you soon.